Well, today we launch and preview Backstage with Cooper and Matty Johns. Coop, you come up with the name Backstage. You know, why is that? Why is Backstage relevant to this podcast, do you think?
Well, obviously the setting we've got here, Matthew, that we've created, the environment, but also it's essentially the message of we're bringing them behind the curtain, bringing the listeners behind the curtain, bringing the guests behind the curtain. We're delving into the back of their lives, and we're letting people have a little sneak look into, you know, a behind the scenes type of thing, bringing out a different side to our guest and of ourselves.
Yes, that's right. Like this podcast is all about insights and it's all about storytelling. In the case of our guest, at the end of the podcast, the listener will see another side of our guest. And the really important thing about it too, Coops, is that the podcast listener will feel like they're in the conversation. They're involved in the banter and the chat. Some of our guests, Coop, we've got coming up. We've got some good ones already booked.
Yeah. The Warners, Candice
and Dave Warner together.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Nathan Cleary. Wow. Prince Penrith.
I'm looking forward to that. That's not just talking about that last 17 minutes in the grand final, which in my opinion was the best high-pressure performance I've ever seen, but also, mate, like how his life has changed since then. His last 3 months. It's almost like, which happens sometimes when they hit a certain level of stardom, they surrender their private life to a certain degree.
Yeah, you'd know about that. And then,
yeah,
and then Mark Burris.
Mark Burris from the world of business as well. Our good friend from film, Matty Nable. We've got, Cooper, also a couple of big international musicians, which we've just about got across the line. So I look forward to that. But yeah, plenty going on. Luke Brooks as well, the man who was actually filling the big boots of Cooper Johns in the 6th jersey this year for Manly. We're going to talk to Brooksy before the season starts. Really looking forward to seeing how Brooksy's going to go in a different jersey with the Manly side, playing alongside DCE and Tommy, of course. But, righto, Coops, if we're going to preview this, a bit of a tease for what we can expect going forward, if we're talking about insights, I'll turn it on you, because in the last 3 months, your life's changed a lot as well. Firstly, the decision to retire. I mean, heart's broken right across the sporting world. But, mate, I love the media release that you came out. Bit of piss take. You gave it to everyone in there. Have you heard you gave it to particularly Brandon Smith, Cameron Munster, and Craig Bellamy? Have you heard from Coach Bellamy?
He rang me the next morning. I dropped him a text because I had like a weird dream over the night, just like, you know, where you think like you feel like guilty or something.
Yeah, you're thinking, could there be a fallout here?
I felt a little bit guilty. Not guilty, but like just the sense like I don't want him, and he's you know, respectfully to Bellyache's age, he's not exactly grown up with technology, so he might not realise what it even is and think I'm being serious. You know,
I actually think you're probably offending him right now.
but you know what I'm talking. So I was like, oh, maybe I need to get on the front foot and just say, oh, Bellyache, it was just a joke. And he rang me the next day and he said, mate, boys showed me your post yesterday, and mate, I thought it was bloody terrific.
Just the way you're talking about Craig, I think you've just offended him again. Okay, you gave it to Brandon and Munster.
Gave it to Brandon and Munster.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that haven't read it, I brought up their off-season scandal a while ago.
Did you hear from Brandon? Brandon, water for ducks back for Brandon.
It didn't bother Brandon. I haven't heard from Mun yet. Still waiting for maybe a happy retirement or something. So I'm not sure if he's dirty. I reckon he might be, considering he hasn't asked me yet. But everyone else took it well. All the other boys, because I had a little crack at Wishy, Harry Grant, Brad Parker. So they all took it pretty good.
The decision to retire, Coops, quite seriously. What pushed you towards the decision? Was it the very fact that no one wanted to sign you? Did it have something to do with it?
Oh, no, of course not. People were knocking on the door. I suppose it was because it was a tough decision only based on my age. If I was, 30 or something, it would have been the easiest decision in the world. So it was only tough considering my age and the fact that nobody's really done it this early before. It was a little bit different to probably the norm of rugby league. But I suppose I had, the foot in the media side already, and I've really enjoyed the stuff I've been doing, the podcasting, the stuff on Fox here and there with you, and then Kyle and Jackie O show.
We'll have a talk about Kyle and Jackie O in a second. Have you missed the rugby league? Have you missed the camaraderie? They've just getting to the back end of their pre-season. Have you missed that?
I've missed seeing I have missed seeing the boys all the time. I went into Manly the other day to shoot something for Fox, and it was like I just kind of fell in like I hadn't left. Like I just kind of got around, like just getting around everyone, just like got me a bit of FOMO. Don't miss training. Definitely.
I can tell. You got
so definitely, in case you can't tell, I certainly don't miss training every day, long days and stuff.
Your love handles are unbelievable at the moment. You've just got this. You have quickly descended into being that skinny fat bloke.
Yeah, I have. Get it from. Yeah, I wonder who I get that from. And it's not Trish. It's you.
Right up. Before we talk about Colin and Jackie O, looking back in your time playing rugby league, number of years at Melbourne, last year at Manly, who's the best player you played with, Coops?
I would say I didn't play a heap with Cameron Smith, so it'd be very easy to just say Cameron Smith. I only played 1 or 2 games with him. I would probably say the person who made me better, whether it was in reserve grade or first grade, was Harry Grant.
Yeah, right.
I would say someone like that makes your job a lot easier just by people who play rugby league would know, like little tendencies he would do to the markers and stuff would make my job a lot easier. Give me more time to drop the ball. Things like that. But he certainly helped out. Like,
what was it like living with Harry? Seriously,
that was good. They're probably the fondest memories from my playing time, playing with him. Like, when I look back at that period, like the fondest memories are kind of like the nights out with all the boys and like all that stuff. But I remember when we first moved, we got put together when we first moved to Melbourne, and me and H barely knew each other. Like, we had one conversation over Facebook or something but I was drunk and he was drunk, and like it just never really worked out.
It sounds great.
But we had the work program together, and we worked it for like the company was called Drain Flow.
So the work system or the work scheme you got to do when you go to the Melbourne Storm, you got to train for 2 weeks. You got to work for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not get paid, on the tools.
And you train before and after. It's like to show you to be grateful for what you've got. And we worked at this company called Drain Flow, which was essentially like a plumbing company, but they used to go to, I don't know, I'll probably lose you here because you don't really know this sort of stuff.
I did work experience as a plumber, mate. So
you did?
Put you straight back in the box.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. But you go to pre-slab. So before a house was built, when they'd lay all the concrete, and then we had to like flow a camera through the pipes to see if the concrete, when they laid it, had cracked any of the pipe. You still got me? And like you'd see, because there'd be dirt in the pipe. So we used to have to do that. And if there was, then we'd dig and glue new pipe in. And it was a shit job, like shittest job. Like, and I didn't even know how to like, you know what I mean? I couldn't do anything. Like, I didn't know how to use plunger. I don't know how to use screwdriver, like, because of you and that.
That's one thing you have inherited from me.
Yeah. So the boss hated me because like I wasn't a good worker, and loved Harry because Harry was just good at everything. And so I played a prank on him where he wanted to secure this big client.
So is this Harry? No,
this boss. This is the boss. He wanted to secure this giant client, but like one of the clients that builds like 1,000 houses, like one of those. They just mass develop these houses, and he was about to secure them, like where he gets all of them, so he can do
huge deal.
A huge deal would have made him millions. Anyway, we heard like one of his like co-workers told us about it. So he didn't have my number, he had Harry's number. So I texted him from my number, pretending to be the head of the company, essentially offering him the job. like saying it's yours, you've got it, like you've got it in the bag.
Oh,
And he just sat. I remember like we were at Hungry Jack's and I'm watching, and he's just sitting there looking at this message, and I'm watching him, and he just never replied. And we just went, we'll just go on with it. Wait till he texts it or rings it or something. So what I didn't know is in this time he texted his wife and called his wife saying, "I've got the job. Like this is huge for us." She's like looking at new places to move.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. Of
And then he texts his contact at the company, going, "Oh, whose number's this? I just got the text like confirming I got work." He comes back like an hour later going, "Mate, that's not one of our company numbers. I don't know who's done that to you." After he's already told his wife.
Just quickly, how you feel at that point?
Oh, I didn't know at this stage. So I'm in the back like of the car going, "How good's this? Like, we've got him." Anyway, we're driving along the highway and he rings and he goes, he rings and my phone was like had its ringer on. So I'm sitting in the back and it just goes, bring, bring. And he's looking, and I still remember his face. He's like holding his phone up and he's looking in the rear vision mirror. And I'm sitting in like the middle seat, just staring at him in the eyes. And he just goes, is that you? Is it, you little fuck? And I was like, oh, nah. And then he just pulls over and just give me and Harry the biggest spray. Told us, like, we were never going to make it as rugby league players. Told us he was going to tell Bellyache and the whole club that we were like...
Well, he was half right about not making it as rugby league players.
Yeah, he got Harry completely wrong. But, yeah, shit like that, that's probably the fondest memories of down there.
How different was Manly?
As a club, it probably just hasn't. It's probably just not run a tight ship as Melbourne in terms of. It's a lot more free flowing. Like the standards are a bit less in terms of.
They've had a lot of
club.
turnover with coaches and stuff like that.
That's
well.
something. When I went there, it was Siebes' first year, and they were people coming in and out all the time in terms of staff. And there's a bit of a disconnect between the actual club and the team and the players in terms of like the staff. Inside the club, administration, marketing, all that sort of stuff. At Melbourne, it was very connected. We'd have parties and drinks together, whereas there, like a lot of the boys didn't know their names and things like that. So it's a lot different.
The boys, all the teammates,
champions.
They're great guys, huh?
I feel like everybody in rugby, or like you'd struggle to find a team where there aren't good guys.
Yeah, sure.
In there, every team's there's cockheads in every team. There's one or two. Don't worry. Oh yeah.
You're the one. You're one of them.
I was the one at Manly. But yeah, it was a sick club. Like I loved it, and I probably knew when I was coming back here. We'd sort of had conversations anyway that year about me stopping playing, and it was kind of one more sort of year to just not give it a crack, but just see if it still if I enjoyed it as much as I do this sort of stuff.
Did you enjoy it last year?
I did. I did enjoy it. I still had a lot of fun. Like it was still a good time.
Okay, compare me Tom Trbojevic with, say, Munster.
Well, Tom doesn't give off like the Munster vibes, but he's got a bit of undercover dirtbag.
Undercover dirtbag.
Yeah, he's got a bit of undercover.
I love undercover dirtbags because he
doesn't advertise like he's like loves a drink and that, but like when to be fair, because of his injuries and stuff, he was going sober for a lot of the time.
Yep.
But when he did have a drink, he could drink.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Righto, a question. Last thing on football before we move away and talk about Colin Chakio show just quickly. If I said to you, you're going to go away on a trip for a month to, say, Acapulco, go to Mexico, give me 3 of your former teammates from either of the sides that you would take away with you.
Oh, wow. Well, Harry, I'd probably... Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Probably Harry, Brandon, and Nico.
Yeah. Harry, Brandon Smith, and Nico.
Yeah.
That's... I mean, okay, question Nico Hines. Saint Nico. Everyone loves Nico. Give us some insight on Nico.
What, if he's a dirtbag?
Is he got to be...
Oh, everyone's got a bit of dirtbag in him.
Well, yeah.
But Nico's one of the good... Like,
he's a good dirtbag.
He's good dirtbag. You know what I mean? Like you, me. Yeah. He's very good. Like he was a part of our crew down in Melbourne for a couple of years where we, have like a good time and all that. But Nico's a very emotional and not afraid to sort of share and voice his emotions. And he was good. He was very good for the crew in 2020 when we won it. He actually started once a week like a mental health chat, well-being chat. Wow. Every week we used to do like an hour, and he'd have like a 10-minute spot within it where he'd get up and talk about mental health because of we were in a hub away from families. He'd have conversations with boys and get some boys up who would talk about how they're finding it hard being away from their wives, which I never really understood. Like, I thought that'd be the best thing in the world, being away from your wife for that long.
Oh, no, we hate it. Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As you know, I just went away to Vegas with Fletch, Hindy and Gordy. The 8 days was just hell without Trish.
Yeah.
Now, Ruddo, you've played at 2 really terrific, great rugby league clubs, Melbourne and Manly. Now you've moved into the media and you're on a great radio show. And I mean this sincerely. In my opinion, the Kyle and Jackie O show is just about, in my opinion, the best radio show on the planet. I don't know any that are better. Listen to different ones, the American ones. It's as good as any on the planet. What's it like? Give me some insight working on Kyle and Jackie O.
I mean, it's how it sounds, like when you're listening, is pretty well how, like it's, I didn't realize, you've worked in Brekkie Radio before, but I didn't realize how chaotic it is. Like, and I've watched, we've got Jonesy and Amanda just literally 30 meters away at WSFM, they are?
Yes.
So they're 30 meters away in their studio, and they've only got a few producers over there. It's a lot more quiet. When I walked into Colin Jackie O first day,
It's mad.
like there's 13 people out there. There's music blaring. There's like a disco ball, and every time a song comes on, they're all trying to grab me up to dance, and I'm like, no, not yet. I've been here for like
I can't wait for the first party if this is work.
Yeah, I know.
Because Kyle and Jackie O used to, when I worked at Triple M, they were just upstairs, and it used to be the same thing. We had pretty much a skeleton crew, but then we go up and see those guys, and it was crazy. It was a
chaos.
party.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Right. What's Kyle like in the ad breaks?
He's good. He just goes up, has a smoke on the roof, which apparently he's been doing since his time at Today FM as well.
Yes,
so
that's right.
He's probably, I don't even want to imagine how many smokes he's had up there in the morning.
Right. Let's talk about the hardest working person on the Kyle and Jackie O show, the censors, who do the bipping. How many you got there?
Two. So there's two censors.
They need 2 censors now.
Yeah. And he talks to him like during, he'll be like, he'll swear and then just go, oh, sorry guys, out there, like wave to him. Like, oh, it's all right. They've actually got they've definitely got the hardest job.
You can hear it just beep.
Yeah. And they've got to be, the hardest thing about that is they've got to be across all the laws as well. So like they've got their head right. It's not even about swearing sometimes. It's just about things you can and can't say.
Your first interview you did, they lined you up for.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Tate McRae.
Did you know Tate?
I knew her music.
Yeah, right. Yep, right. How well did you prepare for the interview? Because by the sounds of it, you hadn't prepared at all.
Well, I didn't have time. They gave me 5 minutes to... They gave me a rundown, and they said, oh, the guys aren't going to get back in time. You got to do it. And I'm just reading this rundown, and a lot of the info in there, didn't even know what I was talking about. So I walked in there, and I'm trying to give a serious interview to this huge pop star over in America and here, and she's just looking at me like I'm like an idiot.
Well, you turned up in the paper the other day from your interview saying that the interview almost lifted the lid on a relationship she was in.
Yeah, well, the paparazzi that night had caught her with the Kid Leroy.
Yep.
They'd had a dinner or something, and I just... off air, like we weren't even in the interview yet. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, and I was just talking to her, trying to make small talk to just make her not leave. And I was going, "Oh, you're single? Like you're dating?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah." And they used that. Somehow they got the audio for that, and they've lifted the lid, going, "Oh, Cooper Johns got the hot scoop in a
hard hitting."
Yeah. So it kind of worked out for me in the end.
Actually, in the article, the lady who wrote it, she wrote 4 times it appears through the article, the awkward interview. It was known as the awkward interview.
Yeah, because I messed up a couple of questions.
Now, talking about things being a little bit awkward, Kiss flew you up to Brisbane to have a big interview with Tom Brady. How did that go?
Yeah, well, I got close to him, to be fair. I ended up in his entourage, We actually went to and from the event together.
The entourage. I think it's entourage. It's like a French word. It's a soft G.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a soft G, not a hard G.
I was in his entourage, and we went to and from his hotel together in like it was like driving the president. It was like crazy, security all over him.
Wow.
He probably said like 10 words to me the whole time. Obviously didn't get the interview at all.
Let's run through what were the 10 words he said to you?
He asked, because I was with Felice Kafusi, and we kind of had lunch just at the table next to him. And when we were getting a photo together, he just like whispered to us, he's like, "How was lunch?" And we just said, "Good."
I mean, worth the trip.
It was, yeah.
What a thing to tell the grandkids.
And I went back on the Colin J. Curtin, guys. And he said, "Oh, where's this audio?" And I went, "Oh, guys, I haven't got audio, but I tell you what, you know what I do have?" He asked me how my lunch was. Do you know what else? Who else? The whole Broncos team was there as well.
Oh, were they?
The whole Brisbane Broncos squad, so 30 blokes were there. And I caught up with Billy Walters before. And at this stage, I knew that he wasn't doing like any interviews, any autographs. Like he just sort of didn't want to do that sort of stuff. And Billy told me, "Oh yeah, like all the boys, we all went and got Tampa Bay Buccaneers Brady jerseys, and he's going to sign them for us all tonight." So they'd all gone out, 30 blokes, and they rocked up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys on, still with the tags on, and they walked in like when they were getting the pictures, and he just goes, "Nah," and all the boys were sitting there, yeah, and they all kept the tags on, so they were just going to go return them. And I seen a video of Jordan Ricky going around to a few of the boys just ripping the tags off, so they couldn't return their jerseys.
What was his itinerary?
He flew in at 10 a.m. on the Saturday to Melbourne. And then at 11:30 had his first talk at a hotel down there.
Geez, that's a quick turnaround.
Quick turnaround, especially if you like delay. I mean, he was flying private, so he probably wasn't going to delay. But then he had a quick rest and then went again at like 4:30 in Melbourne. And then straight after, at like 8 o'clock, flew to Brisbane and then cruised at Brisbane sort of all day. He went to the zoo, seen a kangaroo, he said, and koalas, which are beautiful creatures.
It's basically, that's what Americans do. It's pass through the eye of the needle. Go to Taronga Park, there's an emu, there's a kangaroo, there's a platypus, there's a galah, go home.
Yeah. And then he did his second gig, which finished at 7:30, and then he had a little signing thing, or not a signing thing, a little Q&A, that went for half an hour till 8:30 afterwards in like another restaurant, and then he hit the tarmac by 9, and he'd probably be getting in there now. Wow. He probably got in there.
I wonder what they paid him.
It'd be over $1 million. I don't think he'd be coming for anything less.
No, he wouldn't.
There's no way.
I mean, he doesn't need it, really, does he?
Well, he doesn't really need money, I suppose. I seen what did he sign at Fox? $375 million or something?
Yeah, $375 million.
Can you live on that?
No, you can't. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, not living his life.
He's not getting Mick Innes money.
No. Shout out to Mick. While we're on Tom Brady, because he's actually flying, when he left Australia, his manager said they're flying into Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the big fella over here, you've just come back from Vegas.
Came back from Vegas, and we're going in a few weeks' time. I must say, the trip, it's the old thing with Vegas. You only go no more than 3 days. Yeah, it's 3 days maximum, and of course we went over there 8 days. Myself, Hindy, Fletch, and Gordy. Right, and they're 3 blokes you can really drink. So I've got to say, the last 3 days were horrendous. It was it was just like I'd had enough. Mate, I was that crook. I mean, what year is it? 22. I'm 53. God damn it, where'd those years go? But 53, Coops. When you're on day 4 and 5, and Gordy's going, come on, get a drink into you again, mate. Seriously. Well, put it this way: at night 5, I went back to the hotel room and went, mate, this is not good. I feel so sick, and I couldn't eat anything, couldn't keep anything down. But when you get to the point, there's just nothing left in the engine, but you're still being sick. And I'm in the dark and I'm vomiting. And I woke up, there was actually, this is really bad. This sounds really bad to me. This is too much insight. But there was blood. So I had to get towels. So I was towel everything up. And I went, what am I going to do? I was so embarrassed. So I couldn't let housekeeping come in. So the last 3 or 4 days, I had to put Do Not Disturb on. So the only thing I had left to wipe myself with was literally a face washer. I was just drying myself because all the towels were a mess. And I woke up the morning that we're leaving, first thing in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, the time of reckoning has arrived. Because, and I've gone, what am I going to do? And I was so embarrassed. I thought, I can't. So what I did, I'm not proud of it, took the top sheet off the bed that had a bit of blood in it. I got all the towels, got them, and just snuck down into the casino itself and dumped them into a bin.
I can't name this person. I cannot name this person. But there is a guy currently in the NRL who, on a One Mad Monday, was with a girl. Like, went back to a girl's hotel room, and she went into the shower, and he went to fart and shit himself all over the sheets, and he was laying there, seen the shit, and just went, oh no. It got up, just wrapped the sheet like around his arm and like balled it all up, threw it in her closet, and just ran.
Oh dear.
Which is horrible.
That is good. Okay, what club?
Oh.
Okay, is it the Queensland side? I shouldn't be that
When
hard.
he did this,
Yeah.
he was at a Queensland side, yes. But that's as much as I'm giving you.
Okay.
I can't allude
Anymore. I will. Some of the really good things. Well, actually, one more bone to pick, right? With particularly Fletch and Hindy. As we're about to leave to go over to Vegas, Trish goes, "We've got a lot of points here. How about I try to upgrade you into business?" And I go, mate, God, that would be good, Trish. I said, but the problem is, I don't want to abandon the boys. I mean, now you jump on the plane and there's all the boys sitting in economy, and I go, hey, see you boys, do a left-hand turn, go to business. I said, I can't do it to them. So we get to the airport and we're sitting there having a bit of brekkie, and Hindy goes to me, what seat you in? I went, let me just have a look. 82F. And I could see those two imbeciles just look at each other, he and Fletch, and they get their boarding ticket and just sort of edge it away from me. And I go, what's going on? And look down, and they're like 7A and 9C. I said, what the fuck's going on? They went, oh, mate, we got an upgrade to business.
that's
so I'm trying to be the good guy.
Oh.
For the sake of the team captain is sitting down the economy.
And you are the team captain.
And the two imbeciles, the two jesters, are right. And, mate, I was sitting there, and lucky, mate, they were good people either side, we're having a chat, but I'm sitting there, and I'll be just going, oh, my God, okay, only 7 hours to go, and I'd look up, and Hindy would sort of walk, and he'd have a bottle of, like, champagne in his hand and just give me a bit of...
Oh, yeah.
But look, we had some really good stuff. We went to male strip troop, Thunder from Down Under.
Oh,
all
yes.
young Aussie blokes. A lot of them ex-footballers that played, played NRL, got injured, and then went away and said, no, it'd be a very good lifestyle over there. 2 shows a day, and it is packed. Well, we organised for Hindy to get involved in it. I got to say, that night is one of the greatest nights I've ever had out. Like myself, Gordy, and Fletch were waiting, and when Hindy came out doing his strip, I got to say, Coops, the next day, Trish sent me a photo because there was a photo of us with all the young Thunder from Down Under fellas, and she goes, "What is this?" My face was like bright red, and my lips were just cracked. It was literally from laughing. My face was red and stinging. I'd never laughed so hard in my life. It was one of the best nights I've ever had.
Well, the guys in at Fox have actually showed me snippets of it, and they've got it. They had a camera on you guys the whole time. And you, Gordy, and Fletch are literally crying this whole time.
It was so. Hindy was man of the tour. Hindy, mate.
Who's the worst influence? So if you guys, in terms of like drinking, because you're all bad influences, like in terms of like get everything out for the drink. Like,
whatever someone's vice is, we enable it.
Okay.
We've all got our vices, and the others will enable each other's vices.
Yeah.
You're out of it. Who do you think's the worst influence?
Probably Fletch.
Yeah, you nailed it. A couple of
Yeah.
things for people, because there's a lot of Aussies, of course, going over for the doubleheader in Vegas. I'll warn you. Vegas, the first couple of times I went there years ago, it was really cheap because the gambling subsidises the food and the drink and the accommodation and whatnot. Hey, those days have changed. I don't know whether they're recouping the money that they lost during COVID, but, mate, it is ridiculously expensive. So you get up. I hope your mother doesn't hear this because you know how Trish thinks about me, doesn't like me drinking vodka.
Yeah.
But every morning, she wasn't there. So you get up most mornings and you go, oh, okay. You get up, we go for breakfast, and we go, right up. We've got a decision to make here. We either whinge and wind our way through the day, or we go get ourselves a drink right now. So every morning I'd go and get a double vodka and soda. Right?
Double vodka and soda in the morning?
Yeah. Oh.
What about like a vodka? I can understand like a vodka orange juice or like a mimosa or something. Why the vodka
Well, guess
soda?
Guess how much a double vodka and soda back in the day in Vegas? It'd probably be about $8. Guess how much it cost me? A double vodka and soda. Just have a guess.
US?
Yes, US.
$12?
$25.
25?
Yep. $25.
US?
But for people, yeah, it is
Which is like $40 Australian.
expensive drink.
Oh.
Enjoyed it though. But here's the rort, right? For people that are going to go to Vegas, listen to me on this. Firstly, if you want to save money, and this is not a rort, but it's just common sense, get away from the strip. If you want to have a really good session, have a drink or a good meal, the further you go from the strip, the cheaper it gets. There's a place, as you blokes know, I talk about it all the time. It's called it's the worst bar in America that I found when we went over there last time, called the Double Down Saloon. Go to it. It is dirt cheap. Their specialty is arse juice and bacon daiquiri, but the drink is cheap. Pretty good food for a dive bar as well. But yeah, that's my tip. Get away from the main drag. Get away from the strip. It'll be cheaper. My other one is this. This is my rort, Cooper. So if I go to the bar in Vegas and I order a double vodka and soda, how much does it cost me, Coop?
$25 US.
Boom, $40 Australia. However, if I get a $5 note and I put it into a poker machine and I just sit there and I order, could I get a double vodka and soda? Guess how much it cost me?
Is it free? Oh, so it's free.
So all you got to do is be a good guy and you tip the people that are coming around serving the drinks, and they'll keep coming back. And so as I said before, go 15 steps from the bar, go sit at a poker machine, put $5 or $10 in, pretending you're playing, and free drinks. Just got to tip them.
Ah,
That's a good rort.
That's very. Do you have to be staying at the casino at that hotel?
No.
How good's that?
No. A couple of other things to do while you're there. A really, really good place. If you go to the Cosmopolitan Casino, it's a beauty. There is a place in there called the Barbershop, right? And it's an operating, functioning barbershop, but it's a speakeasy. So you walk up there and you say a word, and they open at the back, and there's this big live music venue at the back, music playing. It is awesome. And the bloke says in Vegas, he said it's quite famous for like artists who have got residencies and different things coming in and just with some friends and doing a couple of songs at the end of the night. And we're like, oh, mate, that's awesome. And he said, yeah, if you were here a few nights ago, Bruno Mars just turned up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for people, go to the barbershop in the Cosmopolitan. Real fantastic. Very, very
Wow,
good.
that'd be good to know.
So, Cooper, well, mate, there's our bit of a preview, a bit of a tease, a little bit of a launch about what Backstage with Cooper and Matty Johns is about. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I look forward to it too.
I think it's going to drop how long? About a month? It's a month's time.
Yeah, when we drop this, about a month, I reckon.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah, we'll be promoting.
Yeah.
We'll be posting on socials.
That's
Follow
it.
the socials.
That's it.
Backstage, Cooper and Matty Johns.
And we'll run it past, exact dates, we'll run past our boss and our producer, Mr. Jack Johns.
Yes.
But till then, bye-bye.